All right, folks, before we get to your questions, which are coming up next, I got to tell you, the stress of daily life weighs on all of us. I've been dealing with a lot of it over the course of the last week in the NBA and trying to keep up with all this and stay up at all hours, tweeting at all times. But you have all been very kind to me. So whether you are an elite athlete or a regular person, and I am the picture of that, trying to get through the day, muscle pain, muscle tension, it's a real thing. It stinks. Tom could probably speak to it. He's out there in the men's league basketball games. He feels muscle pain. He knows. Happens to us when we get older. And that is why I use Theragun. It is the handheld percussive therapy device that releases your deepest muscle tension using a scientifically calibrated combination of depth, speed, and power. If I had mine handy, I'd display it for you on video right now, because that you wouldn't even know, other than my moaning in approval, how wonderful this thing is. It's as quiet as an electric toothbrush. It's because the all-new Gen 4 Theragun has a proprietary brushless motor. It's so quiet you will wonder, seriously, if it is even on. Is this thing working? Oh, but let me tell you, it's working. While you soothe your aching muscles with Theragun's signature power, amplitude, and effectiveness, you will not get a better feeling. You have no idea what you're missing out on. You got to order one. The Theragun, it's a must-have for everyone, and just in time for the holidays as well. Get the Theragun tool for ideal relaxation today. Give your body the break it so badly needs. Try Theragun for 30 days. Just give it a try. There's no substitute for the Theragun Gen 4 with an OLED screen, personalized Theragun app, and the quiet and power. I keep telling you about the power. You need it. Starting at only $199. Go to Theragun.com/beat. Do it right now. Get your Gen 4 Theragun today. Theragun.com/beat. Again, that is Theragun.com/beat. Tom, I don't know if you've done your holiday shopping yet, but I got to tell you, this is something you got to throw in a stocking, pal.
Like, you could not have sold it more.
I got some back pain right now from all the chores I do today. I'd kill for a Theragun right now.
Oh, I was out there the other day with the leaf blower, couple hours, and I realized that's not hard labor. I mean, a rake and a tarp, that's hard labor. A leaf blower, but still, that thing weighs on you after a little while. I'm not a strong guy. It gets heavy after a bit. I'm telling you, relax that muscle pain. All right. I asked
you talk to the fact that you have some muscle tension after using a leaf blower for a few hours. you might want to maybe do some calisthenics or something, or maybe, do some working out at home.
I have muscle tension just from talking to people about the Celtics lately.
There you go.
With all that's been happening.
Fair enough.
We have, so I had asked for questions on Twitter, and the people, they did not disappoint. I have a lot. Let's get to as many as we can. And to do that, I think we need to go rapid fire. So we'll, anyone that has anything to say among the three of us, jump in, offer an opinion, then we'll move on to the next. And I will try, as I read through them for the first time, to not be repetitive, because I'm sure a lot of them are pretty similar with regard to, like, WTF with the Gordon Hayward situation. Brian says, who should the Celtics target if they A, get a trade exception from Charlotte, or B, do not get a trade exception from Charlotte? What do you think?
I have a tough time with direct names here, just because there's so many potential options. You just don't know who might shake free. But I think that the answer is wings. You should be targeting wings here. You need some versatility, especially on the defensive end. I know we touched on it before, but losing Hayward on the defensive end is a big deal. So I would be very focused on any wing that I think can play some defense, and I would just trust that the offense is going to be there, from everybody that you're relying on for offense that's already on the roster.
Have you got a dream guy out there? And I have to tell you, Aaron Baines is no longer available, pal. He signed with Toronto while we've been talking.
Well, Toronto will treat him well. Tom's right on the money here. Barring an injury, a specific group so let's say Jeff T goes down. All right, so you might want to get a guard. All right. So, but that being said, wings and Boston is focused on that primarily. I mean, it's why they drafted Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown 2 straight years in a row. You add Nesmith in that particular regard, even when Hayward was sort of on the roster. They need wings, and I'm not quite sure who the name is. People are going to throw out Bradley Beal because he makes a ton of money, and people are going to throw out Karl Anthony Towns because he makes a ton of money. Don't
Beal's
count on
Tatum's
that.
Guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on any of those two things. I just wouldn't, because you have to give something to get those two guys. I don't think Boston has. I mean, they do, but I don't think they want to do that. So. I agree with Tom. I think it's some sort of defensive wing who maybe can shoot threes, a PJ Tucker type. I don't know if it's not going to be PJ, but it's somebody like that.
Antonio says, how many more leaps will Tatum and Brown make moving forward with their careers? And I think you could argue that, and this is me, not Antonio, I think you could argue that Tatum is, to some, a top 10 player now, certainly top 15. I think he could absolutely vault into the top 5 conversation, certainly by the end of his contract. You know, it may take a couple of years to get there. There's a ton of talent in that league, and he's still incredibly young at 22 years old. Brown, again, I think he can be and will be a perennial all-star, but that's how I view the continued growth. We could, you know, Tom, if you want to delve into specific facets of their game that they could improve at, you know, feel free.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I think that Tatum, we started to see it last year with his floater game. I think that's huge for him. I mean, when he gets downhill and he can get to the rim like that and he can, you know, just kind of loft it over people. I mean, that's just a tough shot to defend. It keeps defenses off balance. And I think that's going to be there for him a lot. So I think that's a big part of it. You know, just kind of finishing around the rim. That's big too. I mean, Jalen, you know, I think it's fair to, like, he's a worker. Like, you know, he's going to keep working and working and working. The levels that he's already jumped, like, are impressive. And to me, they almost suggest, like, you know, certainly I'm sure he's going to try to go up another level, but it's like, how much more can you, like, realistically ask from a guy? Like, he went from, you know, like a bench player to an all-star just purely off, you know, or like close to an all-star at least, just by working his tail off. So, I mean, sure, he might take another leap up, but if he doesn't, I think it's worth remembering that, like, this guy has gotten himself to quite an impressive level already. I'm with you on Tatum, though. I mean, I think, like, you know, you're talking top 5 in a few years, and I don't think that's ridiculous at all.
I also don't think, with regard to, and this is a larger conversation we'll save for another time, but with regard to Jason Tatum, you know, for anyone out there, it's like he should average 30 points a game. Do I think he's capable of that? No question. He has showcased that. I mean, hell, he basically did it from the All-Star game on last year and in through the rest of the regular season into the bubble. But I don't think you're looking for him to do that with all of those pieces around him that we already kind of talked about. I think if he's sitting around 25 a game, that's more than acceptable, as long as he's, you know, reasonably efficient with his shot. You don't want him, you know, taking 25 shots a game to average 25 points, obviously. But does he need to average 30 points? I don't think so. Let's go to the next one, though.
I want to just point out real quick, defensively, both of them could use a little bit of work. And if Jalen becomes a better off-ball defender, then we're really talking, because Jalen is an excellent on-ball defender, but his off-ball stuff drives me crazy sometimes. But if they could both lock in a little bit better on that end, the top 5 stuff for Tatum, absolutely, no question.
I think Tatum's really good on that end already.
Yeah.
You know, he's pretty good. He's pretty versatile too.
Elite. Yep.
I love this from Shamrocks and Shenanigans. Also love the name. With Danny's stockpile of assets now gone, if you're Danny Ainge, what do you see as your biggest trade asset in the event a desirable player becomes available via trade? And I'll leave that open a little bit in the event that Boston acquires a $20 or $30 million trade exception, obviously, in this deal with Charlotte potentially. But with what they currently have, what is the answer to that question, Tom?
I mean, it's whatever you want it to be, man. Like, if there's, like, a guy out there that's, like, so
well, but it's not, right? Because, like, Tatum's not going anywhere, Brown's not going anywhere.
I would, like, probably, but I mean, I think if the right guy comes available, you're gonna have to have a conversation, right? Like, I mean, if Beal becomes available and you like him, I think you have to talk. Like, if that's a guy that you think can vault your roster to the next level, I mean, you know, like, I think you have to weigh some things. Yeah, I mean, I think that the Celtics will have to have, like, uncomfortable conversations if certain guys become available, and, like, those might not be conversations that fans will like, but I mean, this team has made it quite clear that what they expect and what they want to work for is a championship. And, you know, to do that, sometimes you have to make uncomfortable decisions. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
From Raphael, recent picks in Tristan Thompson and Jeff Teague, should that be enough to reach the finals? And I will remind you, this team, of course, was just in the conference finals.
I'll be honest here. It's tough, you know, unless
I would agree.
Unless Neesmith's going to be, or Pritchard's going to be, you know, a really awesome offensive player from the jump. I have a hard time seeing it. I think, you know, Milwaukee, we'll see. I don't buy Milwaukee yet either, by the way. Coach Bud's still a coach, and if he still isn't going to play Giannis 37 minutes a game when it matters, then it doesn't matter who the hell they had on their roster. The Brooklyn thing is what really is interesting here. You know, what does Brooklyn look like? You know, the Kyrie, KD team up we've never seen it. Don't know what to expect. I mean, it could be really high level basketball. It could be a giant mess. No.
And will Harden wind up there?
Yeah, we have no clue. We have no idea. So I'll just say no. I don't think they have done it. Again, unless Tatum is going to be unreal and so is Brown. Fine, but I don't think they've done enough yet.
I think there's pathways to it, but I think you're right I think you're exactly right that like part of the problem is that other teams got better. Like, Philly got better and is being run by, very competently now. So like, I think that those things matter and, things could break, right? Like Miami ended up in the finals last year and I don't think that they were the best team in the Eastern Conference, but like, you don't like to be in a position, if you're hoping to make the finals, you don't like to be in a position of relying on things breaking right.
Yeah, better front office, and as much as people probably think I hate him listening to this podcast, Doc Rivers better coach than Brett Brown, folks. So they've upgraded.